cannot be all things to all people. And if that is the case, you will remain somewhat anonymous because there's not enough focus in one area for anyone to talk about it or share it or write about it. You need focus. And that starts with your expert bio. Now, there's the other side of the wall, right? And that is where we say you have an established brand. Now, to get from the left to the right, we're saying there's this intersection of focus that needs to happen. And I'll use a very quick analogy that I think I learned in high school, I think, maybe college. But here it is. It's like if you're looking at a train track and there is a 6 foot by 6 foot concrete brick wall, a train going 60 miles an hour can actually break through that wall without hesitation, no problem. 6 feet by 6 feet, it's going right through. That's because there's velocity and momentum and there is focus in one direction. However, if that train was just going 10 miles an hour, just 10 miles an hour, a single penny on the track could actually derail it because it literally doesn't have the same velocity, the same momentum that is created by a one track direction. That tiny penny can actually derail it. That is exactly what we're talking about here. If you want to break through that wall, and I'm taking the stand of it, starting with your expert bio, the credentials behind your name, there has to be intention and focus around what are those details trying to support to help you go from the unknown to the known. Now, I have some examples here of people that have broken through this wall that I'm going to share with you. The first one, and I think the biggest one and the most recognizable one, is the one at the top here, and it's Amazon. But I'm going to, if you take it back to the beginning, if you remember this, although Amazon sells all things today, in the very beginning, they sold one thing. It was books. That's what they became known for. Intentional, hyper focus on one thing. They broke through the wall and now they literally sell everything. Dave Ramsey, debt, right? He started with debt. He still talks about debt. He said the same thing for 20 years. Debt is dumb. However, now that he's broken through that wall, he talks about cash and leadership and all of these things. He's got all these brands underneath his business model now, right? It's a very, very healthy 9-figure business that started with one thing, debt. Brene Brown, who's basically a household name at this point, talks about shame. But she also talks about now authenticity and vulnerability and leadership, right? She talks about all these things, but it resulted from one thing, shame. And then you've got Gary Vaynerchuk, who started with wine, right? He started as the wine guy, and now he also kind of talks about all things. But it started with this intentional focus of how do I become known? How am I seen? And how am I promoting myself as the expert in this one thing? And for Gary, it was wine for a long time. To break through the wall, then you can expand your wings and start to say, and I also do this, and I also talk about this. But as we talk about your expert bio today, I need you to harness in on this concept, which is what is your uniqueness and how can you exploit it in the service of others? And that is at the crux of your expert bio, is it's discovering what is it that you want to be known for, this uniqueness that you possess that no one else can possess because they're not you. And then what are all of the things, all of the credentials, all of the details that lay behind that to help you exploit that in the service of others, i.e. your customers.